light is like right there. Mm-hmm. I don't think we should be saying that, but they say I'm different. Man, shut up, man. You always on that. I'm like, I'm not always on that. If you hear how they talk about us, you wouldn't want to say that in front of them.
Yep.
Because it's like you putting a stamp on whatever they saying about you. You just stamp it because that's how you act.
Right.
Like stuff like that. I don't think it's funny. Like to me. Like,
no, you're right. I agree with you.
Like it was a video on YouTube. No, it wasn't YouTube. It was Facebook where they was in like a safety meeting. It was all white guys in a safety meeting, and it was like three or four black guys. Them dudes cut on the radio, and they in there singing like a trap song inside this meeting. And I'm sitting here like it's like three black guys and everybody else white, and they just making complete fools of themselves around these white people, and that bothers me. It really, really bothers me. I don't like to act a certain way when I'm around white people.
You know what?
I turn it up a little bit. I think
it should bother you because it's a modern day minstrel show. What we doing is acting like they portrayed us back in the day when they painted us black with the big eyes and the red lips and had us dancing and cooning around for them. So we continue to do that because they continue to tell us that's who we are. And all using the N-word in front of mixed company. You're right. Because guess what? When we was little, what did all the mothers tell us? All our mothers told us was go on in this house, stay in this house.
Stay in the house.
There are certain times when we're in mixed company, we have to remember that they don't need to know what's going on in our house. They don't need to know our ways. We don't know theirs. We don't know what they call each other as terms of endearment when we ain't around.
Because all they're going to do is take what they see us doing and capitalize on it anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, I think we just got to do better as far as that right there. If we can do better with that, I think everything else will fall in line. And I don't want to call it being fake. I just want to call it being aware of what's going on around you.
You absolutely right. I mean, that doesn't help. No, you're not different. You're growing. And a lot of times we villainize growth and we will celebrate the person that hasn't changed. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to grow. You're supposed to see the error in your ways, and you're supposed to want to do better. You know what I mean? So those one of the things that we just got to continue to teach each other and show each other that, hey, you don't have to do it this way. You don't have to settle for that. Because sometimes we just don't know, and this is what I realized. A lot of our people, they just haven't seen anything differently because, like you said, how many of us actually come back to Portsmouth or back to our community? How many of us actually do it to show a real life representation of what could actually happen or where we could actually be from? That's why when I connect with my friends from J-Dub and all the people that grew up, all the people that continue to come back and work in the community, because there are people in the community that are here that do look like us that are trying to make a change. So, I think it's important because they're going to say that you sold out, you different or whatever. But my thought about fooling is somebody that's continued to act like the buffoon that they said that we were, right, or the person that continuously sells us out. So those are coons. You know what I'm saying? You can be a Ben Carson coon, but you can also be a Sambo coon because you want to shut your job every time they're around.
Yeah. I had and this gonna be a real dudes exclusive, but I thought about contemplating running for the mayor of Portsmouth. Seriously, because how in the hell you lose $11 million in the city of Portsmouth? So I'm thinking
about that $11 million.
So
$11 million for 3 months now.
Let me tell you this, but listen, we done had people get locked up and died in jail for stealing $5 worth of candy. So yeah, $11 million is a lot.
I understand, but John is on that $5 million, that $11 million. He's not letting that go.
How in a city that's how in the world in a city of Portsmouth? I know we big in people, but we small. How the hell you lose $11 million? Where are you? How you lose $11 million? You got, like she said, Lennon Oaks is crumbling down. But what did $11 million go? Like, really?
Let me tell you this. I don't know where they lost it at, but Lord Jesus, I hope I find it.
I can find one of them. One of
the $11 million, man. Let me tell you this.
So how can someone...
But if you do decide to run, this is what you know, that people like you can force issues. Like, I think that sometimes people think about when they're running for office, right, that they're not going to win. Sometimes people run not because they even want to win. They run because they want to force the
you want to open people's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to open eyes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense right there.
So, so when is the next election? Hello?
I think she left.
His time is I think he got what? I'm confirming right now. Oh yeah, he got another year. He got another year.
Okay.
You know, I had to ask the guru real quick.
Okay.
So what's the difference between, since you up there, you know, with the people, the politics, and the people that's trying to help the city? What's the difference between Mayor Kenny Wright and the mayor that we got right now?
Kenny got blamed for everything.
That's one thing. Between Kenny Wright and Rowe. Yeah. Well, that's the first difference is one is white and one is black, and pretty much everything. I mean, and one is it's so much. Like, we would have to have a whole show just to talk about the differences in the two of them, and not to give Kenny Wright any passes, but I mean, he way different from Rowe. He way different from him.
So, what happened? Like, let's see. I would think I was like coming up. The police that patrolled the neighborhood. I don't want to say they were more friendly, but you had more access to them. You saw them more. Like, they would come around. They would pass out the little cards to the kids with the football players on them. Like, I remember watching the Redskins.
Tennessee.
They would always come around and pass those cards out. They would talk to the people that's sitting on the porches. It was like they was trying to do better by the neighborhood. Why don't we have that? Why don't we have that anymore?
You're right. They were friendlier because they actually were in the neighborhood. They got to know the people, and it's hard to police people that you don't know. You know what I mean? So that's number one. You can't really effectively police groups of people. You don't know who they are. You don't know the culture. They don't trust you. So you're right. It was absolutely different. One of the things that happened is that they just got away from it. The former chief of force, she had actually started initiations, started programs that would force them force officers to be back in those neighborhoods to walk and patrol and ride bikes through the neighborhoods instead of just riding your car through. You know, trying to intimidate people to force those relationships, because it's important. You can't, like, we as black people, we're naturally afraid of the police, and with good reason. So we definitely won't be afraid of a police officer that we don't know. You know what I mean? So we just have, those are, I don't know if those programs have ended. I would have to follow up on that. But those are the things that we have to do as citizens, to ask about stuff like that, to hold them accountable. When the police department meets every other month, and it's open to the public. Show up and ask the chief and the police officers questions. Hold them accountable. You have to do that. We have to be involved. We can't just be what I call a social media activist. We have to actually show up to this stuff and get to know these people. And they see, and I'm going to tell you, once they see you a few times, they're going to start calling you by name. But that's a good thing, because they already know when you come, it ain't going down. They like, man, I ain't really trying to feel. You know what I mean? You want to know who you are, in a sense of, this person knows what they're talking about, and they about some action. So next time they come back, I better at least be able to answer the question, because I don't know what they might do.
Okay.
As far as get the word out. You know, nothing crazy. No violence.
Because it was a video. The guy, I don't know if you heard about the shooting that was in Holly Cove in Chesapeake.
Yeah.
They had, I want to say, they had some type of police training out there not too long ago, and the guys that threw the parties out there, they saw the police in the neighborhood, so they went over and approached them. And it's like the police, they were doing like a training exercise in their neighborhood. And they was saying, how can you have a training exercise in the neighborhood without even coming to talk to the people of the neighborhood?
Wow. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was what's his name, Stephen Cherry. And then when they walked up, the policeman called them two guys by name.
Yeah.
And they said they never talked to this cop, never had any interactions with him or anything. He called both of them by their name. So dude said, how the hell you know my name? How the hell you know my name? And it was like, you're the guy out here. So it's some talking going on like behind the scenes. They know what's going on. They just don't want to help what's going on.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say this. I do think, honestly, I do think most police officers are good police officers. I do think that, right? I think most of them, or at least they mean well. I ain't going to say they all good, but I ain't talking about enforcement, because our police, they're a little different. But I'm talking about on the grand scale of police officers. I do believe that most police officers are good police officers. And to be honest, when I think about my interactions with police officers, even enforcement, most of the time I can only, and I am a woman, and I know I'm speaking from a black woman's perspective, but I can't think of many times where it was a bad interaction. You know what I mean? So I still do think that most police officers are good police officers, but a lot of times they're going to go where they're told to go. If they're not held accountable and the community is not showing up, because a lot of times what happens is something happens to our communities and then we become reactive. We have to move from a reactive state to a proactive state. We already know that this has been going on for 400 years within our community. So now we got to show up and say, this is what we need from you. You might need to be a liaison. You might need to be a representative. You might need to be something so that the police officer knows that this is my contact for this neighborhood, and not in form of snitching, just so that they can get out there and start forming relationships. Because, I mean, you just have to be involved in more levels than just reacting to what we see on the news, because we do know that the news doesn't always report everything in all its accuracy either.
Well, let me ask you this. You say that you're from London Oaks. How did you feel when they put those, I guess, the barrier around London Oaks? How did you feel about that?
The Donald Trump wall.
I think that people shouldn't have gates unless they pay to have them. And, I'm from London Oaks like 20 years ago, London Oaks, but I'm going to say this. I don't think that people should be caged in. I'm going to tell you this. When you forcibly put a cage or a gate around somebody, then I viewed it as them being caged in. Because nobody asked for them. And you paid money for gates when you could have paid money to improve the living conditions.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I know.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. That's crazy, because you already have them speed bumps, and I just realized 2 years ago, why they put speed bumps in neighborhoods like that? Because you go around to another neighborhood, they don't have speed bumps like that. But you I
would say the speed bumps are pretty much for the children.
No, those speed bumps are for people that are trying to run away, and they're trying to catch.
Well, I don't have an issue with the speed bumps, because we do know that there's crime in London Oaks. I mean, we just got to keep it 100. There is crime. We got to keep it 100. And there are speed bumps in places where there are a lot of kids. And there were speed bumps out in London Oaks when I was there. I don't never really remember them not having speed bumps. Now, I don't know if they made them bigger. You know what I mean? They might have.
They made more.
They like dumb. They look stupid now.
So they look like ramps. They look
that's what they are. They ramp bumps.
You gotta go boop, boop.
When you think about it, though, they had already closed off entrance to London Oaks. They did that way back in the day. So they closed it off, right? So then you put gates around it. I mean, like I said, I just don't believe. I felt like they tried to cage them in. And here's the thing: is you don't put gates around people that don't pay to have them. Like, if I want my neighborhood, if I want my house gated, I'll put up a gate. I don't want somebody to just show up and put a gate around me. You know what I mean? Like, that's especially when you actually have people living in dangerous situations. Because I wouldn't agree with the gate, no way. But here's my thing: y'all spent a lot of money to put that up there, and y'all could have improved the living conditions of the people y'all have out there.
Found out where the $11 million going to.
The $11 million be back on the $11 million.
I'm telling you, he will not leave the $11 million alone.
I understand.
But find the $11 million, John.
I understand $1 million. Jesus Christ, 11.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that big until I think he kept saying it, and then it sunk in. We're talking about $11 million.
It is $11 million, but
we're not talking about no little bit of change. You can't find $11 million. So, yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, because that's a lot of money that the city could have used, the area could have used, anything.
You can't
Let me tell you, I already said I would like to find it myself. In a double bag somewhere.
Well, let me ask you this. When I was coming up, when I was little, we had Joseph Parker Center. You had the center by the Alabama. You had the Cabinet Manor Center. You had the YMCA.